We're just a few kilometers away from the crisis region in northeastern Nigeria, where the government has declared a state of emergency. We have to film secretly at countless checkpoints. The police and army are on edge. For years, the Islamist militant group Boko Haram has been terrorizing the people here. Last month alone, more than 500 were killed in attacks. Yamaltudeba is a village just outside the region where Boko Haram waged its campaign of violence. We're told that more than 100 people have sought refuge here: men, women, and children. One of the refugees, Tijani Hussein, tells us the people back home are terrified all the time because of the continuous attacks. There's no peace, he says, and nobody knows when the terror will reach you. When you leave the house in the morning, you don't know what will become of you. And when you come home in the evening, you can't sleep. Everyone is scared. That is why we left our village. A family here has taken in more than 40 refugees. Many of them are from near Buni Yadi, the town where Boko Haram stormed a school in late February and murdered 43 students in their dormitory. Boko Haram claims Western education is sinful, and it's therefore right to kill students. Amina Al-Haji Ali gave birth to a son just a few days before the attack. Now she doesn't know what to do or where to go. She says she doesn't care where she lives, as long as her son can grow up in peace. The people of Yamaltudeba have welcomed the newcomers and offered them help. But it's clear that the refugees need concerted, organized aid. The villagers have barely enough to get by. Since the government in Nigeria is barely functional, nobody expects any assistance. So we were surprised to find a team from the Regional Disaster Relief Agency interviewing refugees.
We came to assess the situation and then go back and report so that we bring relief materials for them.
People tell us the agency only sprang into action because we are here. We head to Gombe, the capital of Gombe State, to talk to staff at the National Emergency Management Agency, which is meant to coordinate aid for refugees from the crisis region. First impressions are not reassuring. Although we're told the warehouse is well stocked with aid supplies, we're not allowed to see for ourselves.
So the storekeeper, the store officer, his attention was called to Abuja. So God willing, we are expecting him within this weekend.
And he's the only one with the key?
He's the only one holding the key.
The security forces appear to be overwhelmed by the Islamist insurgency. The chief of police says he doesn't want us to film him because he fears reprisals by Boko Haram. Nobody from the army will talk to us either. The next day, a contact gives us some shocking video material. He says he received it directly from a member of Boko Haram. The footage depicts scenes of extreme violence. The Islamists are known to attack Christians, but they also attack fellow Muslims, who make up the majority of the population in the region. The militants burn down entire villages. They murder men, women, and children. The leader of Boko Haram, Abu Bakr Shekau, is also in the video. In long, rambling speeches, he talks about enforcing Islamic traditions and rails against his enemies. He says Democrats have turned away from the true God. Their hearts are sick. May God make their hearts even sicker, he says. They will suffer pain because they are liars. Boko Haram was founded in 2002. One of its stated aims was to fight for the interests of the people of northern Nigeria, ill-served by the government. In 2009, there were clashes between security forces and Boko Haram. Its founder and leader, Muhammad Yusuf, was killed while in police custody. From then on, the group became increasingly violent. Now, it's not entirely clear what it's fighting for. What is clear is that it's become a powerful fighting force. Some experts say it's better equipped than the Nigerian army. It's estimated that Boko Haram has killed several thousand people. Reports say police officers and soldiers are frightened and run away rather than protect the civilian population. They have reason to be scared. There are plenty of videos of Boko Haram parading captured soldiers and then decapitating them. In the morning, we head west to Bauchi to meet a journalist who's researched the history of the group. Ahmed Mohammed has reported on Boko Haram for years. He shows us the spot where it launched its first major attack 4 years ago.
So this is where it all happened?
Right, it all started, and you can see the plug. Maybe if you know your way, then you can do what you can be able to do.
Then a policeman stops us, saying we have no permission to film.
You have a right.
There's our accreditation, we're even officially accredited.
This is official accredited for you. But here, we have our own commissioner of police. We have chief security with the states.
The commissioner of police has to do with our accreditation.
Excuse me, you can't come like that. You are a foreigner.
Commissioner of police.
You are a foreigner. You can't just come to the town and start snapping without knowing who you are.
But this is nationwide, it's written. Look, I'll show you.
Let me see.
He detains us and takes us to the police station. This incident highlights just how tense the situation is. We're questioned for an hour and then released. We suspect a senior officer instructed them to let us go. Ahmed Mohammed finally has the chance to give us some background on how the extremists are able to recruit young members.
They attributed the reasons for insecurity due to poverty, unemployment. Because every year in Nigeria, students are graduating in thousands of number from various universities, polytechnics and colleges of education. And after they graduated, there is no employment for them. They have no place to go. So most of this team maybe lead to easily for any good and bad person to maybe carry them along, and they can engage for whatever business that come their way, even if it is criminality.
Many recruits are thought to be found at Islamic schools, where boys study the Quran. The students are known as al-Majiris. When they're not learning texts, they beg on the streets. There are tens of thousands of al-Majiris in Bauchi alone. Most are the children of poor farmers, sent to town to receive religious education. Observers say these uprooted and vulnerable boys are an easy target for Boko Haram recruiters. Rabiu is one of these boys. He goes from house to house singing verses from the Quran. Today he's lucky. Somebody gives him some food. I usually do get enough to eat, he says, though sometimes it's hard. Rabiu takes us to his school. There are no modern teaching methods here. If a boy doesn't sing a verse loud enough, he's whacked with a cane. But poverty and piety don't necessarily engender violence, let alone terrorism. Some of Boko Haram's leaders even attended expensive Western schools. The teachers here deny any sinister intentions. Abdullahi Muhammad says they teach peace here. He calls on all Islamic scholars to do the same, because the Quran teaches peace and not violence against those who think differently. The last stop on our visit to Nigeria is the capital, Abuja. The contrast to the impoverished north is astounding. The country's political elite has made itself comfortable here. We want to interview government officials. We call the Interior, Defense, and Information ministries, but nobody will talk to us. Hildegard Behrendt Kigozi runs the Nigeria office of a German political foundation. We meet her at a building that used to house the newspaper This Day. It was destroyed in a bomb attack by Boko Haram in 2012, in one of its few incursions into Abuja. She tells us that the situation has been bad for the past 2 years. It's been deteriorating and will probably continue to do so. She's not sure if the government is unwilling or unable to address the issues, but she suspects it's more the latter. For years, the political elite has managed to avoid dealing with Nigeria's massive problems. Our impression is that ordinary people feel abandoned by their government and by the international community. All the players have so far failed to solve the problem. Unless that changes, the insurgency and the violence in the Northeast are set to continue.